I am scrolling down in this file and look what happens. I can still see row 4 frozen somehow. Do you remember how to do that? If you remember, the keyword is frozen, so freeze, let's say, you can go to view and you have freeze panes. And remember, you can always use your search, and just by typing the beginning gives me the option. We have information for textbooks in sociology, and as you can see, we can have different disciplines. Within the same discipline, you can have different areas, and then for each area we have different book titles, and then we gather information for how many units were sold wholesale and how many units were sold retail, and then we have the price. And then we have the total. So if you look in the formulas over here, that's number of units sold wholesale and what's the price per unit. So multiplication gives us the total. Same idea for the retail. And then the retail plus the wholesale will be the total book sales. Let me push escape to exit out of that. What we would like to show is a breakdown by discipline, by area. And we like to show for the shaded columns, we like to see the sum for each area, for each discipline, for the sales wholesale, for the sales retail, and for the total book sales. And there is a tool that can actually do that. It's called Subtotal. But before using the Subtotal, we need to have it organized and sorted. So because I want to see by discipline, then it needs to be sorted by discipline first. And then because I want to show by area, that should be the second level of sort. Do you remember how we were able to sort by multiple levels? We can go to the data tab and then we can use sort. Okay, don't make selection like that. Just click where you have the data and then go to sort. And Excel automatically selects the data for you. If you don't trust Excel, you can just scroll down and see it. So we want to do it by discipline A to Z, and then the second level should be area A to Z. Now let's use the subtotal. It will be under the data tab, and there is this subtotal. So what we want to do, we want to show at each change in discipline. We want to use the function sum, and you can actually use more functions here. And we want to do that sum for the sales wholesale, so I'm going to check that box. For the sales retail and for the total book sales. And let's just push OK. And let's see what happens. As you can see here, the first discipline is aging, death. And if you double click here, we have the familiar subtotal function. Remember we used that one? When we had the total row in the table, we noticed that the name of the function was subtotal. And what is special about the subtotal is that if you filter the data, it will reflect the correct filtered data. Okay? So there is a second subtotal we would like to apply, and that's possible. So we go back to subtotal, and this time we are doing at each change in area. We use the sum function. Now the boxes are already selected because of our last step. Now I am careful not to replace the current subtotals. So I'm going to uncheck that box and let's push OK. So what happens now, you can see that not only we have by discipline, but we also have now by area. Not only it gives you detailed information, but you can actually use these levels. So this is level 4. But you can go to level 3 and that will collapse the data and it will show you at a glance the discipline area subtotal. So that's pretty cool. And if you go to level 2, you can only now see the discipline. And guess what happens if you click on level 1? So let's click and see. It will only show you the grand total. So if you need to resize the columns, I zoomed in, so that's probably why I see like that. And then if you want to focus on a certain discipline, say I'm interested in family, and I'm interested in marriage and family, and I only see those books in that area, it shows me briefly here. So that's pretty cool. If I would like now to show all the subtotals, I can hit 4 to see all the details. And there's one more thing we can do from the outline. You can go to Group and Auto Outline. And based on the formulas you have, yes, I would like to modify. Remember that we actually have formulas over here. You see the multiplication. So we can only see the result. If I hit the minus here, I can collapse and I cannot see the constituent columns anymore. But if I want to see them back, I can do that. Okay, same idea for the sales retail. And now suppose I want to focus only on total book sales. I can even hit here and I can only see those. Okay, if I need to see again, I hit the plus and I can show all the details. If you do not need your subtotals anymore, you can always go back to Data, Subtotal, and you can use this Remove All. If you do that, you're going to have the data back how it was. Of course, the sort will still be there, but you cannot really undo anymore. So don't do that unless you really want to do it. The way to do it would be probably to save first and then just remove all subtotals and close your file and don't save if you want to have it back.